welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you a tool that I created that automates something that's going to save you a lot of time. So as a teacher, I want you to imagine that you have a class of 30 students and you've created a rubric for them, a worksheet or a rubric in Google Drive. And you have that in some folder in Google. And so obviously you need to create 30 of, you need to create one for each student. So you would, typically right click on this and make a copy, and then you would change the name so that their name is in front of it. And then typically if it's a rubric, you typically want to store it in a graded works folder somewhere out on Google just to manage all your files. And so now you have the original rubric, which you want to save, plus you have this new copied file with each of the students' name in the front of it. Now you can grade this and share it off with the students. Okay, well, that's easy to do for one student, but wonder if you had 30, you have to do this over again 30 times. That is, it's not rocket science, but it's painful to do. And if you have to do that, 5, 6 times for every course, that adds up to literally hours worth of you spending right clicking and just tedious work on your end that we can automate. And that's what this whole thing is about. Automate some aspects of the way we teach. And so I created a tool for this, and the tool looks like this. There's 3 steps, and they're all really simple. Step 1 is you literally copy paste your roster of students, first names and last names, into columns A and B here. So that's literally a copy paste, takes 2 seconds. Step 2 is we got to do some work getting some file and folder IDs out of Google. It's really simple once you learn it. It just takes a slight learning curve, which I can go into right now. And then step 3, once you get step 1 and step 2 done, you literally just click make a copy, and this automation will go out and it'll just do all the work for you. It'll make all of these copies, boom, 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 and it will name them appropriately. So it'll put the student's name in front of the rubric name, and it'll organize it in the folder you want to organize it. Man, it saves so much time. I can't stress it enough. So to dig in a little bit deeper, let us look here. So step 1, again, step 1, you're just literally gonna grab your student's roster, paste in their first name and their last name going down columns A and B. And you can have 1 student, you can have 100 students. There's no limit. The only limit is that we don't want spaces between their names. So you just want to clean up the data a little bit, but other than that, it's a pretty simple process. And there's a lot of flexibility. They don't need to be ordered or anything like that. It's just a simple copy paste. Then coming back out, let's look at step number 2. Step number 2 is the steepest learning curve. It involves grabbing the folder and file IDs out of Google, and we need 3 of them. We need 2 folder IDs and 1 file ID. So we need the original folder ID, so that's where your original file is being stored. We need the original file ID, and then we need the destination folder ID. And I put these little icons next to here just to remind you that, hey, we need a folder ID, we need a file ID, and we need a folder ID. And that seems all confusing, but once you do it once, it all just flows really nicely. So the end product looks like this. Now you would never type all this in. It's a simple copy paste, and I'm going to go out and show you how to do it right now. And then once you get that information in, and then you simply click this button. So let's go see what I'm talking about. Here is the tool live. You can see that I've entered my students in. I got Chang Tao, Mandy Jensen, Ebony Wilson, Zhong Peng, Esther Finnegan. And again, you can have 100 of these. It doesn't matter. Let's go to step 2 here. In column E, I need to paste. My first step is to get the folder where the original file is located. So let's go out to Google, and I'm gonna go to I got this folder here, and then I gotta go to my social media, and then my curriculum, and then my content audit. Let's see. No, it's not in there. It's in forms of value. There it is. Okay, so here is the file that I want to make copies of. It's called 12 forms of value. It's a rubric. Now, this is the folder. I'm inside of the folder. So the ID of the folder is right here. It's in the URL, and it's this last string of characters all the way from this last slash. So there's URL, slash folders slash everything after that last slash is the ID. So it's simple. I just go grab that ID in column E, I paste it. So that's the folder where the original file is located. Well, now I need the ID of the original file. So again, I'm going to come back. Here's the original file. I'm going to double click on it to open it. And you guessed it. It is this set of characters right here. Now, the only trick with the file is Google adds on this backslash edit. We don't want that. So we're going to get rid of the backslash edit. Then we're going to grab this last set of characters, copy, and paste. So notice that this is for the ID of the original file. Notice that this is a file. I can close this now. I just got the ID of the original file. Now what I got to do is I got to go out to the destination of where I want to have this located. So I'm going to go back out to here. I'm going to go to my graded works. I'm going to go to content audit. I want to put this in my content audit folder. But I'm going to you can see I already did it. So I'm going to make a new folder called forms of value. Value 2021. I'm going to click create. So look, I just created a folder, double click on it, and guess what? You got it. I got to grab this ID. So I'm going to come grab all these characters right here. And then I'm going to put those characters right there. So I'm done. Look, I got my student names. I got my 3 IDs, which the code in this automation, when I click this button, make copies, that's step 3, it's going to latch onto these 3 IDs and it's going to go do its magic. So let's see what it does. I'm going to click make copies. You're going to see that it's running a script. Now, the first time you click this, it might ask you to run some approvals, permissions. Just click your account, then click OK and approve, and then you'll have to run it again. But you only do that once, and then everything is good. Now, when you're done, it'll say finished copying files. Click OK. Now we come back out here, and look what I got. This is that Forms of Value 2021. We got Chang Tao, Ebony Wilson, Esther Finnegan, Mandy Jensen, and Zhong Peng. That was that simple. Now, imagine doing that for a list of 30 students. That would take you so long to manually copy this, right click, make a copy, change the name, do that 30 times, and you will need to go to bed. This is an automation that solves that. So you guys, we're automating the way we teach, getting rid of all the tedium and trying to automate it. So reach out to me at this email with more automation requests and ideas. I love this stuff and I love thinking about ways to automate teaching. It's fun stuff. And be looking in the description under the video for ways to get a hold of this automation product.